My bad. My bad. I've been talking to you guys for the last minute, and I didn't realize my mic wasn't on. That's embarrassing. That's kind of sad. Anyways, oh, there we go. So, yeah. So as I was trying to say, sorry guys. Wonderful. As I was trying to say, all the pictures of which that are in the description. If you guys haven't read the title, you'll already know this, but I've included the pictures in the description. Basically to the that were included in this Reddit post. So if you guys want to go check them out, they are in the order of which they were posted on this post. So that is that. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of mention that. I apologize about the slow startup. So I'm going to get started here. Really quickly, sorry, one other side note. I tried using my headset. It does not work with the Mac. I don't know if it's the headset or if it's the computer or both. I'm in the process of trying to find a good headset for cheap. I'm probably going to go and get another pair of the X11s that I used to have. The ones I used to have unfortunately broke. Otherwise, they're, I think, $20 or something like that, $30, even $50. They're really good in my opinion as like a starter headset. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to get started. So I don't know what to think about this. Does anyone know what I should do, what we should do? I guess I should start at the beginning. I'll do my best to say what happened. Recently, my brother Zach had gotten really into nature photography. Last weekend, we decided to go camping so he could take some pictures. We live on the East Coast, so finding places far from the city is pretty hard. Luckily, Zach found what seemed like this perfect place on Google Maps. The map showed a wide open clearing right next to a road. It looked like a few hours drive, but we decided to give it a shot. I packed up my gear and our dog Major. That's a pretty interesting dog name. My brother loaded the car with his camera equipment and we set off towards the spot. As we got close, I saw that the paved road ended. An old "No Trespassing" sign was hanging on a rusty gate. I could see a long dirt road curve out into the wood behind it. We didn't want to trespass, but we'd driven so far. I asked Zach what he thought. He figured that the road and the and the land was probably just the property of some lumber company. It sounded about right to me. We noticed the gate that the gate blocking the road wasn't even locked, and that sealed the deal. Zach jumped out and opened it for the car. After that, we found the spot without too much trouble. It was pretty much perfect, at least at first. We unloaded our firewood and pretty soon had a good blaze going on in the middle of the clearing. Major was running around sniffing everything, looking like he was having the time of his life. Major was a pit bull. We'd had him in our family for almost 5 years. He was a great dog. That's what, 35 years old? Yes. Not too bad. I believe dogs, I apologize to get off topic, but I believe dogs live up to an average of 10 years human, which is 70 dog years, basically, because every 1 year, it's a 1 to 7 ratio, so every 1 year human is 7 dog years. For those of you who don't know. Made this close. Facebook, sorry guys. Where was I? He was a great dog, if a little dumb. I loved that dog more than most people. He had helped me through a lot of tough times. Soon it was dark. We had read online that there would be thick cloud cover that night. Their prediction was spot on. It seemed like the clouds were thick logs, just brushing over the tops of the trees. The only light for miles came from our little fire. I started making some dinners wrapped in tinfoil. Sounds good. I've only been camping like 3-4 times in my 20 years of life, and I actually enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys want me to talk about that, I will. So Zach was holding his camera, taking pictures of an owl that was sitting in a tree in the distance. He dropped his camera, letting it hang from his neck strap. He looked at me and complained about feeling uneasy. I figured he was just being anxious, and can't speak today, and didn't put much. Oh goodness, and didn't put much thought in stock it. This person put. I didn't put much stock in it while I put together the food. I guess thought. I'm not sure. Suddenly, silence rang out through the trees. What? I realized that may not. Sorry. Yes, I realize that may not make much sense, but let me explain. If any of you have ever gone camping in the forest, you know there's almost constant sounds of of crickets, frogs, and the occasional owl. It all stopped in a split second. I stood up from my chair and looked into the woods. A distinct clicking sound came echoing in the clearing. Put your thumbnail behind your front tooth and pull it until it makes a hard clack. It came in bursts. 3 clicks, silence. 5 clicks, silence. It sounded wrong somehow, like nails on a chalkboard or a fork screeching across a china plate. I can't explain it, but the click mixed the silence made the hairs on my neck stand up. Major jumped up and stared towards the sound. I could see how tense he was. He began barking like mad. Major has always been an incredibly easygoing dog. He was freaking out like nothing I'd ever seen before. Before we could do anything, he bolted towards the sound. I jumped up and chased after him to the edge of the clearing, but he was too fast. He reached the tree line and disappeared into the darkness. I stopped at the edge of the clearing, breathing hard. Zach was close behind me, his camera bouncing on its straps. The clicking stopped, and the chirping of crickets rang out again through the woods. I stopped at the edge of the clearing and shouted after Major. I heard nothing in response. Sorry guys, if you wonder why I'm pausing and yawning. Zach stood staring into the woods uneasily. He asked me what I thought the clicking noise was. I told him that I had no idea. I pulled out my flashlight and told him we need to go after Major. He looked less than happy, but agreed. I turned back into the woods and started walking in the direction that Major had taken off. After just a few minutes of walking, the light of the small fire was completely blocked out by the trees. The light source that I could see was my flashlight. The woods seemed almost too dark. The thick clouds at a remote location gave the woods an almost physical blackness. It reminded me of when I went caving a few years back. That I've never done. Sounds interesting. Zach and I kept on calling out to Major. After a few minutes, I heard a faint whimpering sound. Oh, fuck. I called for Zach to stop walking, and we listened. Zach nodded and whispered, "Yeah, that's Major, up ahead." We pushed on. Up in the distance, I saw a clearing in the trees. In the middle of it, I saw a huge concrete building. Decades old, graffiti-covered sides. It looked completely out of place in the middle of the woods. I pointed my flashlight at the ground around us. Neither me nor my brother could see any roads that led up to the building. Zach lifted his camera and took a picture. The flash lit up the clearing like a strike of lightning. So at this point, I'm going to ask you guys to go in the description of the video and actually open or click the link to the first image, called Image 1, obviously. So you guys can kind of get an idea of, basically you guys can see the picture that they've now linked or added or whatever in this post. Oops, I accidentally closed it. My bad. I went to go back and I accidentally closed the tab. If any of you want to see, I added the picture here. While we stood there, I thought I heard the sounds of Major whimpering. They sounded like they were coming from inside the building. I started walking towards the building. Zach called out, "Hang on, man. Let's think about this for a second." I got pretty mad. I wanted to go get my dog. Who is scared and alone in this creepy building? I told Zach he was being ridiculous, especially if he was scared of some clicking. He whispered back to me, "All I'm saying is let's be careful, all right? No sense running in and cutting a leg open on a rusty piece of metal." I wish I had the sense to listen to him. We walked towards the building. A heavy metal door hung from its hinges in the front of the building. I walked through the doorway and started calling out to Major again. I heard Zach step through the door behind me as I made my way deeper into the structure. The floor and walls of the hallway were all made of rough concrete. I saw graffiti that must have been decades old covering the walls. The end of the hallway turned to the right. As I made the turn, I saw a pool of something discolored on the ground. The heavy stench of decay hit me like a wave. My flashlight flickered and went out. I stood in the darkness, clicking the button, but nothing happened. I figured the batteries had to have run out. I unscrewed the battery cap, switched the position of the batteries, and put it back on. The flashlight flickered on, but the light was faint. It spilled over what was clearly a several-day-old deer carcass lying on the ground. That sounds really messed up. Its head was nowhere to be seen. It actually kind of sounds like a satanic ritual where they sacrifice an animal. Zach started retching and coughing into his sleeve. "Do you think a bear lives here or something?" he said between coughs. My flashlight died again. The darkness was absolute. The stench filling my nostrils made it hard to breathe. I called out again to Major. I heard Zach fiddling with his camera. Here, he moved in front of me. The camera flashed, lighting up the hallway for a split second. "It'll help some, but not much," he said. "Maybe we should go back for more lights." I'll link that picture here. The deer is just out of the frame at our feet. So I'm going to actually open that. You can barely see it. But no, I don't see anything. Yeah, not a lot of exposure. I shook my head, even though, oh, by the way, obviously at this point, go and click the link to the second photo, image 2. I shook my head, even though it was pointless in the dark. Who knows where Major will have run off to by the time we get back. I heard a yelp of fear and pain from up in the distance. "Just keep taking pictures." We kept walking down the hallway, careful to step around the deer. Every 3 seconds or so, Zach took a picture, lighting up the hallway and the rooms on either side that we passed. Some rooms had pools of fluid spilling into the hallways. Zach stopped suddenly, and I ran into his back. "What is it?" He didn't respond, staring at his camera's display. "What is that?" he whispered under his breath. This is where you can open image 3. I can't even really see what that is myself, to be honest with you. Oh, that looks, oh, fucking Christ, that looks weird. If you guys open the picture and you zoom in, oh, this seems to be fake. Now, yes, I am aware not every story on Reddit, No Sleep, is, real, but this just looks like, I don't know. I'm gonna link you guys to a kind of like a Wendigo picture, if I can remember what it's called. Yeah, that's honestly what I think it is. But so check that out in the description. It should be out by the time I'm done uploading this as a video. Then I heard it. A noise echoed down the hallway. Click, 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 click. Sorry, click, 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 click. Getting louder. I felt numb. I stared into the blackness, not able to see anything. Zach took another picture, and the light flashed out. I saw it. Whatever it was. It almost looked like a human, but deathly white, pale, and naked. It had unnaturally long arms with claws that extended at least a foot from each finger. I saw something brown all over its chin and chest. I think it must have been dried blood. It was on all fours, staring at us. So if you guys look at picture 4, image 4, you guys will see a little bit of an easier, I'm not sure what they did. Okay, so this is probably, oh geez, I keep closing it. Whoops. This, I believe, is, yes. At first, I didn't realize I was actually switching through the two, and I didn't realize there were 2 different pictures. I thought they accidentally uploaded the same picture twice. But if you guys look at it, this looks like either Skinwalker, Skincrawler, whatever, a Wendigo, or something like that. Which, to be honest with you, I do not get freaked out, and it really creeps me out to see something like that. Now, I'm going to assume that that's done with editing, because to be honest with you, I can't see something like that coming out on picture. I just don't know. I shouted for Zach to run. I grabbed his shoulder and we sprinted back down the hallway the way we had come. I saw one more flash from Zach's camera, just in time to step into the deer's body. That's nice. We ran out of the building and into the woods. I don't know how we made it through the woods and back to the fire, but once we did, we didn't even pause to pack our things. We jumped in the car and drove out of there. All this was yesterday. I can't stop thinking about Major. We left him there with whatever that thing was. Every time I think about it, my hands shake. Still, I can't stand the thought of Major out there alone. We're going to have to go back. We'll bring some weapons and more lights, and I hope that's enough. I'd call the police, but what'll we say? We were trespassing. No, it had to be us. Note, if anyone knows how to edit the pictures to make them clearer, we appreciate it. So at this point, I'm going to try to open YouTube to see how long this is. But I'm probably going to go on to the second part of this. There is a part. Sometimes I think there's a part 2 and then there isn't. Hello. Sorry guys, I was reading some comments. The one other person commented, why not just go back during the day? Which truly does make quite a bit of sense. This is so far 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and read the second one. I'm going to try and figure out where it is, though, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to switch back to because I opened this originally on Safari, but Safari doesn't really work. I'm just going to read from Safari because it's going to make my life a little easier. Let me just close main notes. Sorry, guys. So in this case, if there are any pictures, okay. I'm going to assume this is, yes, this is a picture. Okay. So any other pictures that I come across, I will link in the description, but I'll So you guys will know which are for chapter 1, which are for chapter 2, just to clarify. So, yeah. Me and Zach immediately started making plans to go back to the clearing to find our dog Major. A lot of you guys made some good suggestions that we decided to follow. We were both extremely shaken up. The thought of Major by himself out there combined with the image of it crawling down the hallway making that clicking sound. Our new plan was to go back to the clearing in the middle of the day. We decided to bring our guns, extra lights, and batteries. I loaded up a shotgun that could sling on my back. So yes, and Zach decided to take his 9mm. Zach also brought his camera to document anything we saw. We reached the clearing around noon. We jumped out of our truck and walked towards the campsite. Our tent and campfire were in the same spot where we'd left them when we'd run last night. We took a closer look and saw that the tent was all cut into ribbons. Oh, Jesus, fuck. It was all cut into ribbons. It wasn't torn. The walls were cut clean, like somebody had taken a straight razor to the sides. Whatever had done it had rooted all around inside. Our sleeping bags were torn open. Their white material scattered all around the ground. To say I felt anxious at this point would be a major understatement. After what I had seen last night, I already felt my hands shaking. I pulled out my shotgun and made sure a shell was in the chamber. Zach did the same with his pistol. We started walking in what we thought was the direction of the concrete building. Major and heard nothing in response. Zach stopped. He holstered his pistol and pulled out his camera. Hang on, I'll take a picture. So looking at this, does show a forested area with a clear path, to be honest with you, to what I'm going to assume is either the path that they took, as it seems to be a road at the end, or if that's the beginning. From the perspective that they're doing this, they're looking towards the opening of that path once you get to the other side, which looks like there is a road, but I'm not 100% sure. Zach pulled his gun back out, and we continued. Oh, by the way, obviously, yes, if you want to check it out, in the description it will be for image number 5. After about half an hour of wandering in what seemed like the right direction, we came upon a clearing. This was a different clearing from the other night, smaller with the trees leaning in, and in the middle of this newer clearing, we saw an old house. Now you guys can go ahead and click the link to image 6. This picture actually came out really clear compared to most of the other ones you've previously seen. It basically shows the house they were talking about, so if you guys don't want to look at it, it's fine. Nothing gruesome, I'm just saying if it's not interesting to you. We walked around the back of the house where I saw a door that was hanging open. The dark interior of the building stood out in stark contrast to the clearings. In stark contrast to the clearing. I looked at Zach. Screw this place, man. We're here for that concrete building anyway. We need to get moving. We were about to leave when Zach called out for me to stop. He crouched down and looked intently at the ground. Take a look at this. He pointed with his pistol at a dog collar lying in the mud. I ran over and picked it up. It had Major stitched onto it. It was torn, and it was covered in what looked like spots of dried blood. Zach pointed out paw prints in the mud that were clearly going in this direction of the open door. Oh my god. We were about to leave and Zach called for me to stop. Whoopsie. We approached the house with our guns drawn. We checked room by room. It looked like it was an old abandoned bar of some kind. Zach pulled out his camera. He shook his head. Why on earth would a bar be built in the middle of nowhere and with no roads around? I told him I didn't know. I'll link one picture he took here. So this is basically just some interior shots of it, and there's a second one. So image 7 and 8 are just the inside. Then I noticed a trail of what looked like a day old. Hold on, can I? No. Not seeing that from any of these. Then I noticed a trail of what looked like a day-old blood spots leading into a door that we hadn't seen before. The door was about half my height and set deep into the wall. I crouched down and opened it. The door opened to reveal a tunnel. I felt a blast of cold wind come out from the darkness. The air was tinged with something foul. The walls and floor of the tunnel were made of old brick and cobblestone of some kind. This is too old, I sounded under my breath. Zach agreed with me. The bar we were in was 20 years old at most. These bricks looked like they'd been there at least a century. We were going to have to go down. Luckily, this time we were prepared. We had powerful helmet lights and had brought batteries to spare if they ran out. I can't explain to you how much dread I felt at the prospect of going down there, but I knew that I couldn't leave Major if there was even a chance that he was still alive. We put on our lights, checked our guns, and started to make our way down to the tunnel. I led the way with the shotgun in front of me. The tunnel was so low I had to duck my head and arc my back, not to scrape against the ceiling. Zach took a picture of the tunnel. So this is image 9. Oh, wow. This looks like, wow. Really interesting. Really creepy as fuck, to be honest with you, but interesting. So again, image 9. We made our way deeper underground. The tunnel curved, sometimes left, sometimes right, but always further down underground. Other branches appeared on either side of us occasionally. The headlamps did a good job of lighting up the tunnel, at least. Oh, I'm looking from the picture, like clear as day. Wow. We kept moving forward. I felt moisture in the air coming from up ahead. And soon the ground was covered by an inch of water. Zach sniffled at the air in disgust. Maybe this tunnel system connects to the other building? I thought that was likely too. From up ahead, I heard the sound of whimpering. Zach and I ran, splashing through the water in a larger room. I turned my head to the corner of my lamp, and my lamp lit it up. Major, sitting in the corner, whimpering. I'm not even gonna lie, to be honest with you, I might get grossed out by this because I have no, like, I can't handle hearing about animals getting hurt. It just really makes me feel uncomfortable. I knelt down to take a look at him. He had 3 cuts that ran from his neck to the middle of his back. They were long, but not deep. They had already stopped bleeding. I pulled out a rope from a bag and slipped it over his head. I tugged him. I guess you ran too fast, didn't you? You got away. Good boy. He licks me. At least the dog is somewhat alright. He's not dead. I just stood up when I heard the sound I've been dreading since that night in the clearing. That fucking clicking noise again. I turned and pointed my headlight into the tunnel entrance into the wall. It lit up another hallway that extended some 30 feet. I saw it sitting there in the darkness. It was sitting with its back facing us. It was hunched over with its head turning to look over its shoulder at us. Its skin was almost white. And even from where I stood, I saw its claws extending from its fingers, its eyes reflecting the light from my headlamp. The two pinpricks in the darkness. Not sure what the heck the pinpricks is, but whatever. Then I heard it speak. It's beyond my power to describe how unnatural and wrong it sounded. It called my name. It called my name. And then it said, I can't say what it said. I can't. I won't. My shotgun slipped from my hands and splashed in the water. I saw a flash from Zach's camera. I can't look at this picture again, but here it is. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm actually kind of scared to see this picture. Oh fuck. This better not be some like sick joke. Um, I'm not even gonna lie. Oh my god. Shoot. Oh, the fucking. I'm not even gonna lie. That looks really. I can't tell what it is. To be honest with you. Oh my god. Yeah. So I can't really. I'm gonna tell you guys. Look, I believe it's image 11 or 10. It's kind of hard to distinguish, but you can kind of make something out. That's at the end of the tunnel or whatever. I grabbed the rope around Major's neck and ran back out the hallway. I stopped halfway to vomit. I spat and kept running, Zach close behind me. We ran through the house and back up to our truck. We jumped in with Major and sped away. We made it back to our house and got Major to the treatment he needed. A few days have passed since then. I wish I could say that it was the end of it. I've started seeing it everywhere. It stands in the corner of rooms, staring at me. When I look in the mirrors, I see it behind me. It sits on the foot of my bed at night. I hear it whispers when the wind blows. It's calling me. It wants me to go back. I have 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 to go back. Okay, this is just going to continuously say that. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat myself 30 times. This is Zach. I just read his entry on Worcester Saints computer. He'd been missing for 3 days now. I was in, I was there in that tunnel and I didn't hear it speak. Just the clicking. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. The police are looking for him and I don't know what to say to them. Some creature made him run away. No, I think. I think I'm going to have to go after him. And whatever this thing is, I don't know how I'm going to kill it, but I'll have to try. I'll post an update if anything else happens. So that, to be honest with you, I'm really skeptical that that's legit as a story. However, it could be true. Could be true. The pictures, again, they're not like to be honest with you, I have a dog, so I'm not going to say I wouldn't have gone back for it. Would I have been as courageous and as brave to go back? Absolutely not, to be honest with you. I would probably push it out and, I don't know, maybe somehow called the police and said that my dog is missing. We were camping. My dog went missing. I ran away. And I can't find my dog. Just, to have that little bit of extra assurance. But to be honest with you, I don't believe the story is true. Completely true, at least. To an extent, it does sound very plausible. It doesn't sound super realistic in the sense of, just generally speaking, sorry guys, just generally speaking, it does not seem to sound very realistic. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. It's some of the pictures are really weird. They're not too clear, but that is going to be it for chapter 1 and 2. And if there's a chapter 3, obviously I will get back at you with it. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.